Greetings, I'm Barrington. Welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to be doing an all-in pledge, alpha pledge, all-in super Kickstarter unboxing of Resident Evil. Back in the day, of course, this was one of the video games I grew up with. I was a huge Resident Evil fan when it came out, and of course I played all the different Resident Evil video games out there, and now it's time to dive into the board games. I will say this is the first iteration of the board game I've played. I know there's been other ones made, but I haven't had a chance to try these, so I'm super excited to dig into this one, get to playing this one, and relive some of the hopefully exciting moments that happened in the game. Are the dogs going to break out of the through the windows and scare me half to death? Who knows? We'll have to find out. Now, this, like I said, is my Kickstarter all-in pledge that I backed when the game was out on Kickstarter. So we're going to go through each one of these boxes and everything that's here. On top of that, we even have a set of dice from the Umbrella Corporation. Who knows if the T-Virus is in there? Hopefully not. I don't need that anywhere near me at all. We also have some playmats that are going to go with this, and some of the final things we're going to look at is that Game Trays has some things for this game as well. So if you're excited to see what's inside all of the boxes for an all-in pledge of Resident Evil by Steamforged Games, then I need you to meet me at the table. We'll start by opening up the core game of the box first, and then we'll move to all the different stretch goals and things that unlock during the Kickstarter. So the first thing we have, we have a picture of one of those zombies. This, I think, is the exact picture from the game where right as you walk in, this in the first maybe room or two of the game, this is the zombie that's over eating one of the people, and this is the cutscene from it where he turns and looks at you. I think that's what this is from. Oh, look, it is, and it even goes back and forth. Oh my gosh, that's absolutely amazing. Oh my gosh, that's super cool. Oh, that's so awesome. All right, we're gonna put this aside. Okay, I'm already excited about this. We have a rule book and we have all the different scenario books. Now, before I get too far into this, I do want to mention this is for 1 to 4 players. It takes about 90 minutes to 120 minutes, depending on how you're going to play. And it's, of course, for 14 up is the deal. The next thing we see in here is we're going to have our punch board, so we'll take a look at all of these. The first punch board we have is really a lot of different map tiles that are on our way here. We got the big open area here. I think this is that dining area. I think one from the very first game. This is all bringing back so many memories. This is absolutely amazing. And this looks like that one way where the dogs are, I think, at some point. Anyway, we're going to look at this. And of course, these are dual-sided, so that's really cool. They do have stairs here, or else you have elevator shafts. These are corpse tokens down here that are going to be used during the mission. And of course, every campaign mission or every mission you choose to do will show you exact layout of what you're supposed to use for what tiles and how to set everything up inside of the actual scenario book. I'll even just quickly show you the first one that's in here. The first one shows you as you set it up, what you're going to set up, where certain monsters are going to be, what your objective is going to be potentially on here. On top of that, it'll tell you what kind of items you're going to be gaining, where your characters are starting, and things of that nature. So it even shows what you're going to do when you progress if you are able to complete it, what cards you're going to add to certain decks that are going to be in this scenario. And of course, the scenarios there's a lot of scenarios going on. And as you complete more scenarios, they're going to become tougher as you go forward in the game, just like in the actual video game itself. Again, we have these same types of tiles with some more corpse tokens. And of course, these look more, I think, more outside type areas, which is absolutely cool. Here again are more tiles. Again, cool looking art. This looks like that grand staircase that you can kind of come up, and then it looks like it fans out just like in the game. I did mention that these are spawn points on the map, and it doesn't show doors because you're going to place those down. For example, here's an archway. I'm just going to punch this out. And so the thing will tell you, the missions will tell you where you're going to place things. So for example, it might say there's an archway right here. So you'd place that right there, and then you'd be able to walk back and forth to whatever the next room is through that archway. There are going to be doors that we're eventually going to be finding in these punch boards, and those are all going to be locked or could potentially be locked based on your scenario, and that will mean that you'll need to find a particular key or item that's going to open the doors, just like in the actual video game. It's super cool. So again, we have more tiles with a lot of the same things on them, and they are, again, like I said, dual side. Oh, look, they have the lab down here. They have a picture of the lab. That's awesome. And again, more corpse tokens. There's a lot of corpse tokens. That's kind of discerning to me. Our next punch board has a lot of different things on it. First, we have, these are going to be different types of items that you can pick up. They're going to be the tokens that are going to be on the board. This right here is going to create what's called the danger level dial. Then we have these scenario completion tokens over here, and this is really cool. These are going to be ammo counters for the types of guns that you pick up or use in the game. On top of that, these are all the different types of doors that we have, and these are the crest, some of the crest tokens from the game. Remember the crest that you can put, you need to go get like the lion crest and the star crest and things like that. Super cool. I'm really excited for that. Then we have an ink ribbon down here because eventually we're going to find typewriter tokens, which I believe are going to help us save our game or create a safe area, for what I understand. This right here, I believe, is where you're going to track your health on your character, and because it's very similar to how they use it in the game. I could be wrong about that. We'll put that back in here, and everything does punch out just fine. So far, I'm pretty impressed with the quality of these punch boards. They're very nice. Here's another set. Now, instead of the danger level dial, now we have the boss health dial right there. Again, more of the ammo tokens, more different door tokens, item tokens. Here are typewriter tokens right there. Then we have a couple item boxes, because in the game you can store items in those. So that could be something you might be able to do. Right here, these are kerosene tokens that we'll be able to get a hold of. And the last one right here are going to have some tokens that are going to show what we have not explored these areas yet. These are unexplored areas. This particular tokens have to do with the exit or the objective tokens. And then we have, what is this, marked targets. This could be part of a monster that's marking you and attacking you from there. These are, of course, going to be different wound tokens that we're going to experience. And then here's a huge giant map board right here. I'm excited to see what's there. And then on the back side, we have another one. This looks like the helipad, or like, because there's a helicopter pad right there. This could be like a final boss battle maybe or something. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. We'll have to play through the game. So those are all the different punch boards. Then, of course, we have the miniatures for this game. This game does come with the 4 real main characters. You get Barry is one of the main characters you're going to have here. He's been in also a couple other games. I think it was in Revelations 2, I think it was Revelations 2. This is Rebecca right here. She's another one. Now, of course, when we play the video game, it could be Rebecca is all, and Barry are actually helping out the 2 main protagonists, which would be Jill Valentine right here. Here she is holding out her gun. I'm pretty impressed with the miniatures right now. They look pretty cool. Everybody seems to be in a nice dynamic pose of wanting to shoot a bad zombie that's coming their way. Or it might not even be a zombie. You might have to be dealing with these hunters. Remember the hunters? Oh my gosh, I remember the first time I came back and these guys started coming after me. Oh man, it was Run City. When I first started playing, it's like, oh no, I gotta go away from that guy. Then of course we have the Tyrant. He's right here. This is one of the, probably your main big boss at the end, and we'll put him back. What else do we have? We have Lisa Trevor is another character here. Oh man, look at this thing. This thing looks like something that's out of a horror movie for sure. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. We have some more Tyrants, and these are going to be all the different types of zombies, I believe. I don't think, we do have different types of zombies in this game. This is what they call a Crimson Head zombie. Even though it's all red, it's a Crimson Head. It's supposed to have a little bit different, I think it activates a little bit different. Then of course the rest of these are just going to be different types of zombies with different types of sculpts. There are some Cerberuses in here, or here's the dogs, the Cerberuses, I think, or something is what they call them. These are the dogs for the game. Hopefully don't come busting through a window and scaring me half to death. And then we have, of course, the dice that are all going to be custom dice for this game. There's a blue set of dice and red set of dice, and then of course our 6-sider. These are going to have different sides, and each one of these is going to be different based on the type of weapon you're using. Is going to be determined what exactly that particular roll will do when using what particular gun you're using. I hope that makes sense. We'll put the dice right back here. These are going to be able to connect to all our different dials that we have for the game. Underneath here, I'm sure, is going to be all the paper components where we're going to have all our different cards and everything that goes along with it. Let's take a look at some of these. Our first set of cards are going to be these more smaller cards. They are going to be our item cards. They start with S. There's also the A tiers and B tiers and C tier items, and the game will tell you exactly which particular items to have in a particular deck for you. So if you walk into a room that has a B tier item and you pick it up, then you would grab the card for that particular deck and see what you have. So for example, say it was this one, you would have found yourself a rocket launcher. That'd be fantastic. I would love to find some rocket launchers. Let's go back down here. These are going to be probably the more normal ones here. For example, green herbs and things of that nature. So it might tell you to grab like 3 green herb cards, 2 handgun cards and 1 rocket launcher card from the, let's say, A deck. And then you'd mix all those together, and then they would go down, and whenever you're told to draw one, you just draw one of those, and that's what you'd get. For example, I would have gotten handgun bullets, which have been fantastic because I love having handgun bullets because I love to shoot zombies in the head with my handgun. So there's a whole ton of these items, and I don't believe you're going to use all the items per scenario, but it will tell you exactly which ones you're going to be pulling for that scenario. The next set of cards I have are going to be door cards. These are locked door cards, and you're going to put that little token you saw for the doors here, and it'll tell you how to open that one. So this one could be just a simple lock. I'll just need that, find that type of key, in particular maybe in that item deck or in a particular room of some kind. And of course they have even armor keys, just like remember the emblem keys. They've got a whole bunch of different things. Look at this, a moon door, so we have to find one of those. Then the interesting thing is on the other side they have that it's unlocked, and that's pretty awesome. Now where's one? Hopefully there's one in here. Here's one. This is a one-way door, so you put the door down here, but you can only go through it one way. You can't come back across it. So I think that's kind of cool how they have that in here as well. The next deck of cards is a puzzle card deck. It's only 4 cards, but it's those 4 different crests we had. And the scenarios that you play with will tell you exactly which ones to be using at what time, and you'll place them down on the board. Or I guess I shouldn't say board. It's the mansion dashboard. It's actually on the other side of that cool picture I saw. And you'll place them down here in a certain order. It might tell you, or maybe they might be like, I think they start face down, but then maybe you'll get a crest. You can go back and see if that's the right one. Oh, nope, wrong. You got to find a blue one. So something like that. I'm not exactly sure how they'll work, but we'll see how it goes. And like I said, you'll also put your items here for ready to use. Then they also have these cards as well. These are going to be different health cards, and these are going to be used more for any type of NPCs you find in the game, or reserves is what they call them. They're going to be located right here. There's 4 reserve cards. There's Albert Wesker. We also have Enrico, Richard, and Brad Vickers, and they all have their own like little helping things here, and they're all going to come with potentially a mission that you may have to help them accomplish. Here's a mission deck. You're alive, searching for survivors, rescue. There's mission cards in this game as well, and all these are going to be placed onto this particular board here. The ones that are not going to be placed there is at the beginning of the game, you're going to be putting down this particular card. This is going to be the start of your campaign. You start in that main hall, and they're going to add certain ones of these particular cards to it, and then you can choose which ones you want to go to. For example, here is second floor west A. So you're going to line that up with number 6, wherever that is, right here, and then say you decide that's the one you want to go to. Then once you do that, you can well, I guess you don't have to flip it over because it's not locked, but some of them are going to be locked, and once they're unlocked, you can flip them over. But say we complete that one, it might tell us to put the card that links over to here ready to go. Now this one might be a more powerful, harder mission, so you might want to go back and do some of these other ones, or maybe it's a locked mission that needs something from one of the other missions you play. So it's really cool how you're going to be trying to explore this whole mansion just like you do in the game. I think it's going to be really, really neat. Of course, in the game, there are monsters. You're going to find, for example, zombies, hunters, things of that nature, all these different types of monsters. And they're going to have different things on these cards. For example, this is the threat value. The less threat, the lower the number, the more I should say the easier the monster is, I guess you could say. This is its movement value and its health value. When it attacks you, this is the type of attack it's going to do. And over here, it's going to have potentially some special rules. And every one of these is a little bit different. Here's the hunter. His is out of control. He's got lots of stuff. We got Cerberuses. And we'll see some of those in the game as we play through it. We have, of course, our heroes are right here, which are going to have similar stats, but instead of threats and things like that, they've got other stuff. And I'm going to go through these cards in particular on their own in more detail using the mats that I've got with the game. For example, I can put down my character right here, and the things you're seeing on the character is, of course, the person's name up on top, then how many dice they have when you roll to make an evade roll. That's going to be located right over here. The next stat is that the inventory limit that you have, which is 8, and the maximum number of kerosene tokens. The kerosene tokens can be used for many different weapons and things of that nature. Also over on the side is going to be the character begins the campaign with these particular starting items. For example, Jill has her knife, her first aid spray, and a gun. Very, very similar to the actual game, which is pretty cool. And of course, every character is going to have their own special rules. This one's the Master of Unlocking and has Fighting Spirit. But some of the other ones, Rebecca's probably more of a healer, if I remember right, in the game. She's, feels field medic and specialist training, which she has a handgun, but 2 different healing sprays, which is good. Chris Redfield is going to be, I believe, a more accurate fighter, I would guess. And he only has 6 things he can hold along with Rebecca and Barry, but Jill can hold 8 things, so that's not too bad. And everybody, oh, he's got his lighter. That's kind of awesome. And then Barry, of course, has an extra set of he doesn't have anything to heal him. That's absolutely hilarious, but oh, that's pretty awesome. Oh, but he's got a gun and even some reloads for it. So every person's a little bit different. And then this is where you're going to put your kerosene. These are where you're going to put the dials for your different weapons. Where you're going to put your weapons that you have that you start with are going to be placed right there. And of course, this is where you're going to track your health as you go forward. And of course, hopefully you can find some herbs. You can combine them and heal yourself back up, which would be pretty sweet. There are a few bosses in the game, and they have their own set deck here. We have the Tyrant, and I believe we have the Lisa Trevor. Those are the 2 different bosses in this particular core box. I'm sure some of the expansion stuff is going to have their own boxes. The next set of cards that we have are 84 different exploration cards, and they're all going to be for specific places, like the laboratory or the 3rd floor, or for example, I'm going to go back to the very first one here, which is the 2nd floor West A, which is the very first one from the game, which I think they are hoping you would do. And on the back, it kind of just shows you what could happen inside that particular room when you flip over that card. Also, during the game, we'll have narrative events. There are 25 different narrative events. I have not sure if you're going to be drawing a card or if there are going to be specific narrative events you're going to pull out of here to try to deal with. I'm just going to show one. I'm not sure what these are actually going to do. Dangerous puzzle. So it'll have a little bit of text about the puzzle and a little bit what's going to happen with it. So that could happen during maybe one of the puzzle ones. So it might be specific to that particular scenario. We next have a bunch of encounter cards as well that you're going to be drawing throughout the game. For example, this one says right here, place a yellow unexplored token on this tile. And other ones are going to have things that says discard this card without an effect, which would be fantastic, I'm guessing. Then these could be either good or bad. I'm not exactly sure. We'll have to see how that works during the playthrough. And then we have what's called the tension deck. This is something that's going to be taking place at the end of every turn. And as you go through this game and things happen, the tension for your characters are going to rise. Now, of course, there are a lot of green ones in here, and they all say nothing happens. But they do have some neat little flavor text that go with the all clear. But as you go forward, you could have some yellow or even red ones, and these are going to have detrimental effects that you might have to choose between. So, like, for example, treacherous echoes. You might have to locate the closest zombie to the active character and place an item a token underneath its base. When the zombie moves or is pushed, the token moves with the model. So for example, this is adding another, I guess, item to the game, but it also is adding an enemy. So as tension builds, more things are going to happen. You could even have like zombies crashing through windows and having more come at you as the game goes forward. Now that's everything that's found inside the core box. Let's take a look at some of the extra stretch goals. The next box I'm going to open is the Director's Cut. It kind of seems fitting because the original game came out, and then after a while they brought out what was called the Director's Cut of the game, which was super, super cool. Here's the Director's Cut rule book. This particular game mode is going to be introducing a lot more playable characters, but as you can see, it also comes with some miniatures that you might notice aren't exactly on your side. We have a Wesker enemy mode that is in here. There's also ways of making the game. It explains how to make the game a little bit harder, how to give your friends the ability to add a traitor to the game if they want to. On top of that, they're adding poison to this as well. And of course, as you can see, they needed to do that because they've got spiders and they've got snakes and they've got a whole bunch of new little enemies in here that are probably all going to try to poison you. We have our chimeras. We have, like I said, a zombie forest zombie here. We've got crows. We've got even more Crimson Head. And like I said, we've got the enemy Wesker. Now, of course, we also have a bunch of new people you could play with. So now you could play with Albert Wesker as a hero if you wanted to. And I believe some of the other ones we saw earlier, like Brad right here, is now a playable character as opposed to just a companion that you can find out in the game itself. They also have Joseph and Richard in here as well. Here's Joseph. This is Richard. I think that's Richard. Nope, it's not. Richard is going to be this one, I think. Oh, I think that's Richard. Well, anyway, they got a whole bunch of people. Kenneth's in here. Forrest is in here. Edward and Enrico is also in here. Enrico, I think, is right here. This is Enrico. It'd be kind of cool to play as him. So they do have those people back. These are going to be some new decks we're going to have to go through. And they think that's it. That's all that's in here are going to be these sets of cards. So we'll take a look at what is in here. On top of that, they do add in a battle game, which is a solo-only mode. Basically, you can see how many zombies you can kill. And of course, in that particular mode, the final person you'd be trying to take down would be like a gold tyrant. And like I said, there is an enemy Wesker in this game now, so there's that potential that you can use. Also, it adds cards to all the different decks. They have Spiderlings. These are going to be the new heroes, I believe, are going to be right here. So we'll take a look at some of those. They do have some more narrative events that probably add in a lot of these type of enemies. We have some new missions that people can go on, and this is what's called the epilogue deck. There's an epilogue deck for this, so at the beginning you would put certain numbers out based on what you've decided in. You're going to add these as you go through it, and you're going to be able to flip these over one at a time at the end to see how well you did in the game. And then we have more encounter cards that are probably going to add in some of these enemies as well. And then we have both our enemies and our heroes. We'll quickly let's take a look at some of those. Looks like we have here a zombie forest spire guy. Okay, then we have snakes. Like I said, here's some web spinners that we might have to fight. The chimeras and the crows are in here. Then we have zombie Albert Wesker. That's kind of funny. Then here's the new guys we could be. Here's Edward right here. And again, each of these are going to have their own special ability and their own like set of dodging dice, their inventory, their, what is this one? This is the amount of kerosene they can carry, and of course their starting weapons, and every one of them's a little bit different. He even starts with a grenade. That's pretty awesome. Here's Joseph. Then we have Enrico. Like I said, here he is. He says, keep your guard up. That's pretty awesome. He had, and looking to see if they, some people do have 8 that they can hold. He even starts a green herb. That's kind of cool. We have Albert Wesker. Here he is, the man himself. He'd pass unseen, and Wesker would remove an encounter token. He can draw the corresponding number of cards from the tension deck instead and leave the token in play. Interesting. That's something. Then we got Brad again, like we've seen before. Here's Forrest. That's pretty awesome. And we have Jill Valentine. Now, the reason there's a Jill Valentine is here, I believe, okay, this is a different Jill Valentine. Oh, this is advanced. Okay, so they do have advanced versions of some of these characters, and the scenarios themselves will explain when you can start using the advanced person. And they, of course, are going to have a little bit different special abilities. Notice they don't have any starting items because this is something that would happen as the game progresses, that they would tell you to start being able to use the advanced person. So now she has the ability Finisher as opposed to being able to unlock doors. This is what we remember from the first one. We have all those for Brad, Chris, and everything. We got them for every single character in the game, which is going to be pretty sweet. We also have some additional health cards. These are going to be used for the trader mechanic. They're going to be what are called suspicion cards. The other things we have here is this will actually make the boxes in some of the games only be accessed at certain times. And then we have some extra items that we can add to them. For example, we'll be able to add our blue herb to the deck, so we have the ability to gain some of those to help us with poison that this game in this potential box introduces. I'm sure somebody's going to ask me if you can sleeve all the cards in this game. And as I was putting away the stuff from the core box, it didn't really look like I think I was going to have enough space to sleeve everything and still have it all fit in the box. But that could change because they are providing, this particular Kickstarter does have game trays associated with it. So that might be a way of being able to sleeve all the cards, being able to, I think maybe the game trays won't be able to hold them. But we'll check those out as we go forward. The next box we're going to open is Into the Darkness. This is again another part of the Kickstarter. Here is the rule books that's going to go with this particular adventure. This box is going to allow us to change the campaign and make it bigger by adding these 2 huge giant bosses. Of course, a giant spider, which I'm super afraid of already. I am deathly afraid of spiders. And of course, it's going to add in some items and some things for this particular mission. It does have some new punch boards, which is going to add new places to go. And as you can see, we still got some laboratories, which are pretty cool. It looks like we are going to be having maybe a potential boulder that could be coming down on us. We have, again, this looks very similar to the other one, just a couple sets of tiles here. And then it looks like we have some new tokens. We have more wound tokens and things, but we have I don't see why these wouldn't be called web tokens. We have web tokens. We have a place to fight here and a place to fight here. I think this is going to be the spider fight. This is going to be the snake fight. So I remember right, you fought a snake inside a big giant room like that, which is pretty sweet. And of course, we have our miniatures for this. We have the giant spider guy here. We're super afraid of that. But we also have our giant snake here. This guy looks pretty awesome. Look at that coming at you. That is amazing. All right, we'll have to maybe paint some of those guys up and add them to the campaign. The game adds new locations, of course, that you're going to be able to unlock and be able to get to these particular monsters. It does have some new doors you have to open, some extra new items that we can have. For example, we have a kerosene container, which is pretty sweet. And here's some other ones. We have a stone and metal object. I'm sure it's going to be to help us try to get to these particular enemies. Then we have, of course, all the different cards that we would add to the specific game. These are going to be the cards you're going to flip over when you get to certain map tiles. These are going to be added to those. This is a new set of cards. These are charge cards, and the specific scenarios will explain when and how to use these cards. And then we have the boss decks themselves for both Yawn and the Black Tiger ceiling deck, clean ceiling floor deck. Interesting. We have Yawn. He's just going to run around and bite you. He's just a giant snake that's going to kill me. Our last big box to open is going to be this Bleak Outpost, which is going to add, again, more to the campaign, I believe. It's going to add a whole new set of stuff. We have the Plant 42 and Neptune, which is going to be, again, more bosses that we're going to be fighting. It's going to add more cards for that. It does have new gameplay mechanics. A lot of this stuff, I'm probably not going to open all this stuff because we've seen what some of the tiles are and everything that goes with it. There are going to be specific tokens for this scenario. Oh my gosh, I'm going to put the plant together. Oh, that's going to be awesome. This plant goes together. This is sweetness. Just like that. That's Plant 42 right there. Oh, that's pretty awesome. Oh, that's pretty amazing. That sealed the deal right there. That was awesome. Then, of course, we have the shark that we have to fight as well here. He is in all his glory. And the tiles that go along with them are going to be found right here. There's the plant right there. I don't see why that would be the plant. That's awesome. And, of course, all the rules for how this thing is going to be used is right here. And it does give you a way of adding it to the campaign, just like the last one we looked at, Into the Darkness. And it shows exactly how to add those things and what to make it a little bit different. So changes to the core scenario are found right here. And yeah, that's this one. Again, I don't think I need to pull out all the cards. I think you get the idea of how these are going to be added to the particular campaign. But do know so now this game not just went from that huge core box game, but now having two extra scenarios that you can add into that core game has made this game just that much bigger and that much more exciting. There are a few other boxes here we're going to open. The first one is a monsters box. I believe the only thing this is for is it just gives you more monsters for the game, or just be able to use for your own. You do have a full set of extra monsters. Ooh, that made a noise. And then on top of that, there is one here for the Kickstarter exclusives. I think this is either just alternate sculpts for the heroes, or it's just another set of the heroes themselves. I think it actually might be an alternate sculpt, because this looks like, this looks like Jill, I think, running instead of just the walking Jill. Or maybe that's not, it does look like Jill. So maybe it's just an alternate sculpt for the particular heroes. And those might be alternate sculpts for the monsters, now I think about it. The cool thing about this one, though, this is a terrain box. This, I think, is going to be super, super cool. This is going to add terrain to the game instead of just having it. So we got doors, and we've got, what's this? Let's see what these are. These look like they're going to be maybe like desks or something. Or, oh, look, maybe cages? No, these are going to be elevators, maybe? We'll have to see what those all are. But it looks like these are all the same. No, they're not. What's this? Oh, stairs. These are going to be stairs that you can have in the mansion. Okay, that's pretty sweetness. And the other one looked like maybe elevator things. Then we have we have doors for the game that are going to be sweet. Looks like some of them are going to be more for outside, some are for inside. Then what are these? These are going to be pedestals maybe that you can put things on. Oh my gosh, you gotta look at these. See what this is all about. I think this is going to be pretty sweet. Let's see what these look like. Bring these out. Looks like, oh, this is going to be one of the boxes that you can pour and put all your stuff into. Then what are these? These are ink ribbons. These are ink ribbons that you can find. Oh, that's pretty sweet. What else do we have here? Looks like these are going to be archways, it looks like. These are going to be maybe for the banisters and things like that. You can have those. I apologize, there's a lot of glare on these. What is this? Oh, these are all the corpses. Instead of using the tokens, you can use these. Oh my gosh, they're gonna be sweet. I can put all these dead guys down. Look at these, a whole bunch of them here. They all look like this. There's little corpses that you can use. And of course, in the game, these corpses could potentially stand up and start attacking you again. Then again, we got a whole bunch more doors. So that is awesome. I'm really excited for this. A whole set of terrain stuff that we can use in the game. Oh my gosh, that is really cool. Now, of course, there is one more box, and that's this one, the retro pack. Now, I don't know how much of this I'm really going to go through. What this is from what I understand, it's 600 cards that are going to show retro versions of themselves. For example, here's the zombie. It's the exact same as the one you saw in the other game, but it's a retro version. It's like the one that it'd be basically using the art from the original game. For example, here's the original shotgun that you saw in the game if you looked at it when you were playing on the old PlayStation. Then here's a green herb and everything. It does have a different art style to what it is compared to what you had before. What is this? Yawning direction. Oh, and they even use it for all of the different things. So they've got all the different boss stuff in here. So even the Plant 42 and things like that. Look, special tactics and research. It's actually all kind of hard to read because it's supposed to be very retro-y. That's pretty neat. And we have charge cards. Here's the unlock for the doors. The doors are going to be a little bit different. They're going to have a different way of looking at it. See, it looks like that 8-bit type rating or 16-bit or whatever bit it was type rating. That's pretty awesome. So that's the retro pack. So if you don't want to use the cards in the box, you want to make it look more retro-y back when you had your old Resident Evil game, you can totally use that. Yeah, it says right here, the Japan contains over 600 retro-themed cards for your copy of Resident Evil, the board game. So you can use those in the game and just replace these cards with what you already have. This is the last thing that was part of the Kickstarter. This is the game trays box. Again, I'm not exactly sure how, this I can tell is obviously where the ammo dials are going to go, but you're going to be able to fit all the different parts of the game into here. And then I believe you can put it right back into the actual box that it has if you want, or maybe this replaces the insert that's in there already, and you can use this to hold all of your stuff. I would have to look into this to see exactly how this will all play out in being able to use it. So, but do know it does come with a full set of these game trays things that can probably hold all the different components that you're going to have that you're going to be able to need for the game, I'm sure, and keeps it really close at hand. Like, for example, this one, I'm not exactly sure what all these things are going to do, but of course, we'll find out. I'm sure there's going to be a way of figuring out how every single thing fits into this once we get it all into this this thing right here. This looks pretty cool. So there you have it. That is Resident Evil, the board game by Steamforged Games. I'm super excited to dig into it. This really brings me back to my youth. This was one of my favorite games to play of all time on the original PlayStation. Then, of course, the director's cut, and I even replayed it again on some of the newer systems when they came out with versions of it. I hope you enjoyed the unboxing. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol so you know when more content comes out. We will be playing Resident Evil, and we'll be getting this to table pretty soon. My goal is to get it to this table pretty quick because I'm super excited for it. If you're interested in leaving any comments, please do in the comment section below. I would love to hear from everyone. Also, if you're interested in supporting the channel, please check out my Patreon. The link to that is also found in the description of this video. Some of the perks that you can get for being a member is you're able to help me decide who plays in these games. So I might have the Patreon decide which of the 4 core characters we're going to use in our playthrough. On top of that, I do live painting episodes, usually about once every week or two, and so we'll probably be painting up some of the stuff for Resident Evil. On top of that, I also like to do some live plays with Colin for the One Stop Co-op Shop. He'll be joining me for a lot of playthroughs. I'm not sure if we'll be playing this live together, but I will be doing some videos for it, of course, because this is going to be really, really cool. For those that actually were able to help support the channel, their names are shown on the screen right here. Thank you so much for your patronage. It does mean the world to me. Of course, one of the main perks for being a Patreon member is you get to see all of my playthrough videos usually a day or two early without commercial interruptions. So there you have it. This is Resident Evil, the board game. I'm really excited for it. There's so much content. It's unbelievable. And if that wasn't enough, don't forget, Resident Evil 4 is coming as well to Kickstarter. I got this, this was actually sitting right on top of the box when I opened it up. So apparently Resident Evil 4 from Steamforged Games is coming as well. So that, of course, is also one of my favorite games I've ever played in my entire life. So we might have to check out that Kickstarter when it comes out. So again, thank you so much for watching this unboxing. And if you're excited to see Resident Evil or anything else, then I need you to meet me at the table.